Can you imagine a future without the human race? Do you think that robots and machines can replace humans? Do you believe that there will come a time when human existence will be at the mercy of robots and machines? Is it also possible that medical breakthroughs in the future may go terribly wrong, that a strain of drug-resistant viruses could wipe out the entire human race? For some, imagining a future without humans is nearly synonymous to the end of the world. Good morning, everyone, especially to our professor, Ma'am Danica Rose D. Selatan, my fellow classmates, ladies and gentlemen, again, good morning. Today, I will be presenting on the topic, Why the Future Does Not Need Us, an article written by Bill Choi. In this article, he discusses the dangers of emerging technologies, particularly in the fields of genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics, also known as GNR. He raises concerns that these technologies may become so advanced that they could pose serious risk to humanity. Throughout this presentation, we will explore his key arguments, criticisms of his views, and why this discussion remains relevant today. Let's get started. William Nelson Choi, an American computer and chief scientist of Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems Incorporation was a company that sold computers, computer components, computer software, and information technology services, and that created the Java programming language, Solaris Unix, and the Network File Systems or NFS. It was founded on February 24, 1982. In 2000, he wrote an article for Wired magazine entitled Why the Future Doesn't Need Us. Choi warned against the rapid rise of new technologies. He explained that 21st century technologies like the genetics or the study of how traits are passed down from parents to kids, like eye color or height, scientists can now change genes which can help treat diseases or improve living things. Nanotechnology is about working with super tiny things, smaller than a grain of sand. It can be used to make new materials or deliver medicine directly to where it's needed in the body. In robotics, it is the science of making robots machines that can do things like humans. They can help with tasks like building things or even performing surgeries, or also known as GNR, are becoming very powerful. They can potentially bring about new classes of accidents, threats, and abuses. These dangers do not require large facilities or even rare raw materials. Knowledge alone will make them potentially harmful to humans. In essence, advanced knowledge in these fields allows people to experiment, create, or misuse technology in ways that could have harmful effects even on a small scale. The danger isn't just the availability of big machines or resources. It's the power of understanding these technologies and using them irresponsibly or without the proper safety measures. Choi argued that robotics, genetic engineering, and nanotechnology pose much greater threats than technological developments that have come before. These technologies are more interconnected, which means small problems can lead to bigger global risks. He particularly cited the ability of nanobots to self-replicate, which could quickly get out of control. If nanobots were designed to replicate themselves without proper safeguards, they could rapidly multiply beyond control, consuming resources and potentially causing environmental or health risks. This is often referred to as the gray ghost scenario, where self-replicating nanobots could eventually destroy ecosystems or even pose existential threats to humanity. The idea is that without strict control, technologies like this could spiral out of human hands, making it difficult to predict or contain their impact. In the article, he cautioned humans against overdependence on machines. In the article, he warned that overdependence on machines can lead to a loss of human skills, control, and critical thinking. Relying too much on technology might make people less capable of handling situations without machines, and could also increase vulnerabilities to system failures or malfunctions. It emphasizes the need to balance technological advancement with maintaining human judgment and capabilities. He also stated that if machines are given the capacity to decide on their own, it will be impossible to predict how they might behave in the future. He highlighted that if machines are given the ability to make decisions independently, their actions could become unpredictable, as they might evolve or act in ways beyond human comprehension or control. This unpredictability could pose significant risk, especially if these machines are involved in critical areas like healthcare, defense, or infrastructure. The concern is that without clear human oversight, autonomous machines might make choices that aren't aligned with human values or safety, because here, the machines make decisions based on algorithms and data, not feelings or ethical considerations. In this case, the fate of the human race would be at the mercy of machines. That's why careful regulation and ethical considerations are crucial when developing advanced technologies. Choi also voiced out his apprehension about the rapid increase of computer power. He was concerned that computers will eventually become more intelligent than humans, thus ushering societies into dystopian visions, such as robot rebellions. What is dystopian visions? It is the portraying a future society where life is marked by suffering, oppression, and harsh conditions. It often features a controlling government, environmental collapse, technological misuse, and stark social inequalities. Personal freedoms are limited, and individuals may struggle to survive or retain their identity in a world shaped by corruption or decay. Scary, right? Theodore Kaczynski. To eliminate Choi's concern, he drew from Theodore Kaczynski's book, The Unabomber Manifesto. Who is him? He is then known as Unabomber, a former mathematician who carried out a series of bombings between 1978 and 1995, killing 3 people and injuring 23. He opposed industrialization and technology, expressing his views in his manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future. Kaczynski was arrested in 1996 and is serving a life sentence. Kaczynski described that the unintended consequences of the design and use of technology are clearly related to Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Kaczynski argued further that over-reliance on antibiotics led to the great paradox of emerging antibiotic-resistant strains of dangerous bacteria. The introduction of dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane or DDT to combat malarial mosquitoes, for instance, only gave rise to malarial parasites with multi-drug resistant genes. DDT was an instant success against insects that carried disease and destroyed crops. It was used extensively during World War II and for 3 decades afterward to control insects that bore the pathogens for malaria and yellow fever. It is credited with saving the lives of millions of people who would likely have died from these diseases and others. Soon after DDT was introduced, however, researchers found that it has a dark side. For humans and many animal species, it acts in an acute and chronic toxin. It is an endocrine disruptor that can impair reproduction and harm the embryo or fetus. It is also a probable carcinogen. To make matters worse, it is not biodegradable and then can build up in animal tissues. With high lipid contents, Rachel Carson called attention to the dangers of DDT in her widely read 1962 book, Silent Spring. Since the publication of the article, Joy's arguments against 21st century technologies have received both criticisms and expression of shared concern. One of these is John Seely Brown and Paul Duguid. Critics dismiss Joy's article for deliberately presenting information in an imprecise manner that obscures the larger picture of state of things. John Seely Brown and Paul Duguid, in their article A Response to Bill Joy and the Doom and Gloom Techno-Futuristy, criticized Joy's failure to consider social factors and only deliberately focusing on one part of the larger picture. Others go as far as accusing Joy of being a neo-Luddite, someone who rejects new technologies and shows technophobic leanings. In their 2000 article, A Response to Bill Joy and the Doom and Gloom Techno-Futurist, John Seely Brown and Paul Duguid criticized Bill Joy's pessimistic outlook on the future. As expressed in his 2000 article, Why the Future Doesn't Need Us, Joy had warned of the dangers of advanced technologies, particularly nanotechnology and artificial intelligence, suggesting that they could lead to human extinction. Brown and Duguid argued that Joy's analysis was overly focused on the potential harms of technology, while neglecting the critical role of social, cultural, and human factors in shaping technological outcomes. They contended that Joy's perspective was too narrow and failed to account for the way society could adapt and influence technological development. Furthermore, some critics labeled Joy a neo-Luddite, accusing him of rejecting new technologies out of fear, similar to the historical Luddites who resisted industrialization. Brown and Duguid, on the other hand, emphasized the importance of understanding technology as part of a broader social framework, advocating for a balanced view that recognizes both the potential benefits and the social dynamics that shape technological change. Why this discussion matters. As a material, Joy's article tackles the unpleasant and uncomfortable possibilities that a senseless approach to scientific and technological advancements may bring. Whether Joy's propositions are a real possibility or an absolute moonshot, it is unavoidable to think of a future that will no longer need the human race. It makes thinking about the roles and obligations of every stakeholder a necessary component of scientific and technological advancement. It is necessary that the scientific community, governments, and businesses engage in a discussion to determine the safeguards of humans against the potential dangers of science and technology. In conclusion, technology continues to evolve, offering both opportunities and risks. While innovation can enhance human life, unchecked advancements in artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and genetic engineering could pose serious threats. Joy's concerns emphasize the need for responsible oversight and ethical decision-making. Striking a balance between technological progress and precaution is essential to ensure that humanity remains in control of its own future. Thank you for your attention. God bless.